Hey, John Hope Bryant. I don't normally do political messaging on my channels, and this is not overtly political. It just involves a political person. So, the former president is in a range of hot water, but none of it is the worst. None of what the worst is obvious to the public, nor is it reported in the media. I'm about to tell you the real worst thus far. The former president has an Al Capone problem. Al Capone was, for those who are historians, the greatest gangster of the 20th century. Great as in the sense of being popular, well-known, probably good at his craft, which is not a good thing to be good at. And extortion and a range of other things, but whittled his way out of it time and again. Again, he was good at being bad. You guys follow me so far? He was brought up for prosecutions and brought up for trials, and he whittled his way out of all of it, convicted of nothing. But he forgot there was a back door open. He was focused on the front door. And what did they get Al Capone on ultimately? Tax evasion and financial crimes, and put him in jail, and he died. I'm pretty sure he died in prison. I think he had some disease or something, but he died in prison, if my memory serves me correctly. But what I know is they convicted him of the thing that he was watching, not even a little bit, the financial piece. I'm not suggesting the former president is going to be convicted of tax evasion. It's something more basic. Recently, he said something very messy, very careless. That's what it was. It was very careless. Well, what he did was very careless and unethical and illegal, but this was very careless for a guy who seems to be very careful. I don't think he realized how bad it was. As he's trying to cover his rear end on the raid on his house, on his residence, this is not the issue. He suggested the FBI planted evidence. Well, the court's now saying prove that the FBI planted evidence. So that's another issue. And I'm just giving you a backdrop of how sometimes he says things and has an unintended consequence. Recently, Letitia James, the AG in New York, filed a civil lawsuit. She's made certain claims around financial documents and their efficacy, the ability to count on those documents, that the numbers keep changing. The former president went on TV and said, look, those documents say very clearly these are draft created in-house. Don't rely on them effectively. Do your own homework. Something like that. But the key word was don't rely on these documents. The problem is that he didn't go to a watch winder and present the estimate of the value of his watch and they made a best guess. He didn't go to a carnival owner and they squabbled over the price of a carnival ride that he wanted to buy. He went to a bank and he borrowed money from an FDIC insured financial institution, which is quasi-government, which is highly regulated. They make decisions based on only one criteria: financial efficacy, financial data. So now we're just under 4 minutes into this video. We're getting to the meat of it right now. So you want somebody else to watch this, just tell them to go to, I guess, 3 minutes and 40 seconds and start watching then. The minute you tell a banker, and in financial documents, there are something called covenants. And there are reps and warranties. You rep and you warranty. You basically assure us, the lender, that these things are true. You sign documents on about these tax returns are mine. You sign documents saying everything that I've written down here is correct to the best of my ability, my knowledge. That what I state here, you can rely on to make a financial decision. And when they make a financial decision on that, they consider that to be true. If you're the former president and you're now telling lenders that they cannot rely on that information, for which there are reps and warranties and loan covenants and guarantees you might have now triggered what's called you might have breached your reps and warranties. You might have punched a hole through your covenants. You might have triggered personal guarantees if you're guaranteeing the person is guaranteeing corporate debt. Here's the worst part: the bank can call the loans. First of all, they'll never give you another loan. So let's start there. So the ability of him to grow his enterprise from that interview forward, unless he's dealing with dealing with charlatans and gangsters and sort of unofficial lenders, unethical lenders, criminals. But as far as getting money from an FDIC, federally insured financial institution, a credible institution, it's going to be extraordinarily difficult. A refinance is going to be extraordinarily difficult. He's going to have to put up money to guarantee the loan or something like that, double underwrite, double guarantee a loan. But all that's really a high-class problem. His current problem is that there are lenders who watch that interview and they're saying, oh, crap, they're covering their end. They're running around right now. While I'm doing this video, folks are running around their offices, having meetings going, what do we do with these dang on loans? Do we call them loans? What do we do? Call the loans, meaning that you notify the borrower they must repay them instantly because they have breached their covenants or reps and warranties. They have defaulted essentially on their loan agreement, because a loan agreement is not just making payments. It is all the things that went into the fact that you actually have a payment to make. It was a loan decision itself. So he just signaled to all the lenders that I defrauded you, maybe. That I don't, I told you to not rely on that financial information. You did it anyway. That's on you. He called them also stupid without saying you're stupid. He called them stupid. He called them dupes. He said, it's not on me if you use that financial information. And good luck. You should have done better homework. Well, lenders and bankers don't like hearing that, particularly when they're providing you with the majority of the financing, which allows this particular person to be so-called wealthy and so-called a billionaire. He is a leveraged, highly leveraged billionaire. He has benefited from the appreciation mostly of real estate that has used accretive debt. Look up the word accretive, it means valuable, basically, debt, from preferred lenders at the best rates and terms, because he presented himself to be somebody who it appears now he's not. Watch for this to unfold. Lenders are not going to sit still on this. Now, because this is all confidential, and the lender's going to be sued for breaching his confidentiality because it's between the lender and the borrower, you may or may not hear about what I'm telling you on the front page of the newspapers. But if you're really nosy and you look at what's going to happen in the next 6 months with all of his assets, you will find seismic changes going on underneath. He will not be able to refinance. He may be forced to sell. He may be forced to liquidate. He may be forced to make capital calls, means he's got to find money to pay down debt, pay it off, pay it down, to make lenders comfortable with the level of risk that they now know they are presented with, given that they do not know their borrower. That's another requirement of a lender, is know your borrower. They can't say right now they know their borrower. They don't know who they're dealing with, and it came out of his mouth. It's crazy. All right, John Hope Bryant, a high-class lesson on financial literacy. Go to Operation Hope, get your financial coaching. Now it's all free. Actually, it's not free. It's sponsored by our partners, which pay for the cost so that it's free to you. We have now 200 offices in 46 states. Go get your empowerment today. And this was not a partisan recording, by the way, because I didn't mention the person's name, first of all, and it doesn't matter to me whether you're Republican or Democrat or black or white or rich or poor. Either you're a schmuck or you're not. Peace.